Hello, everyone, and welcome to UticaTV Frozen Game Day, live from the Nexus Center. The Frozen Four being played right now. We just got done with Hobart versus SUNY Geneseo, and then we have ahead of us Curry College versus Utica. Alongside me, Jeremy Horowitz, Nico Leonard, Jack Rathburn. Guys, we just wrapped up with a great game. What do you guys think?
Well, first of all, I think I'm Justin Notar. Come on. But what a game.
I wish he was here.
Seriously, what a game.
You wish you were Justin Notar.
Sometimes. Yeah, but what a game, honestly. I mean, it started out a little slow. I remember I was up there thinking, like, where are the goals? Where are the goals? Where are the goals? In the third period, it really opened up, you know. They had a lot of pressure on them. They could tell they needed goals. Geneseo, nagged one at the end. We were thinking maybe it was going to go to overtime. But, I mean, what a game. That was phenomenal.
Yeah, absolutely. Jeremy, you were on the play-by-play call. What did you think?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. It did start off a little slow. Both teams kind of had a bit of a filling out period in that first period, but Hobart really took it to Geneseo. I mean, they had 2 goals called back, one for, I believe, a goalie interference, the other one a distinct kicking motion, which I personally didn't agree with. I thought it was a clean goal.
It was a tight,
it was a tight call. It was a really sick move off the draw.
He was falling, I'm pretty sure,
correct? I think he might have got pushed down from behind, but regardless, Hobart came out on top 2-1. Adam Harris, the Geneseo goalie, my goodness, I mean, he played the game of his life. I mean, that looked like an NHL 25 game out there. He was phenomenal. I was very, very impressed with how he played today. And again, they were down 1-0 majority of that game, but it felt like they were down 6-7, even like 8-0. There was a point in the game they were shorthanded. Geneseo was. Peter Morgan, the captain, came out of the penalty box, was shrieking down the right wing, and ended up tying the game. And I mean, it was a 6 shot. Like, Geneseo really, really played well, but Hobart, they're a one-loss team for a reason, and we saw why today.
Yeah, I mean, you say everyone said it started slow. I think it only really started slow, and, like, if you look at the scoreboard, like, I mean, in terms of the pace of play, it was a really fast game. Hobart had a lot of opportunities really, really soon. Geneseo was doing a solid job keeping up, but, I mean, Jeremy, we said this on the call, Geneseo just had no, like, consistency with their chances. Hobart had shot after shot after shot, and then Geneseo would kind of be able to get it out of the zone, but Hobart was just so consistent throughout the game, and then obviously they were able to figure out the goaltender into the second period.
Yeah, we mentioned, like, Geneseo was kind of one and done every possession. I mean, not to contribute it to a basketball game, but that's how it felt. Every time the Knights would have a shot or a possession in the Hobart D zone, they would take one shot and they would get sticked away, blocked away, and then the Statesmen would come right out of the zone and put a lot of pressure on Harris. So it really wasn't a full game, I don't think, from the Knights.
That's why we talked about how important it was to, like, take advantage of the opportunities they were given. We talked about the crucial goal from Peter Morgan in that second period to kind of tie things up, get the Geneseo Knights back in the game, and that was such a huge moment. I mean, Peter Morgan, we talked about, one of the most experienced guys, probably the most experienced guy on that Hobart team, and he was able to do his thing when he needed to most.
Yeah, I also wanted to talk about Geneseo's goal. Although it wasn't enough, it was the goal that tied the game. It was a crazy play. I don't remember exactly who it was. I rember it was number 55.
That's Peter Morgan.
Peter Morgan. Yeah, that goal was incredible.
That's why they're the analysts and we're the hosts.
Yeah, exactly. That's why we're the hosts. I was just down here enjoying it. I'm not a big hockey guy, but I had a great time watching that game. That play was incredible. I mean, stole the puck right away. Goes top left over, a Hobart goal. This is a Hobart team that was 5-0 versus ranked opponents all season. This was a really, really good team. I mean, they're going for a three-peat right now.
Yep.
And to make that play in the big moment, I got to give credit right there to Peter Morgan. It was an awesome play, and it almost drew his team back into the game.
I mean, the momentum completely shifted in the barn here. I mean, it was absolutely insane. You could tell, like, they were on edge. All the statesmen in the back over there, all the fans went quiet. The signs went down for a second. All of a sudden, the UCHC champs are clawing their way back into it with 10 minutes left in the game. But like we said, Hobart's a one-loss team for a reason, and it's not phasing the guys on the ice skating out there.
Yeah, but I mean, the Geneseo goal, I think you're exactly right, Nico. That kind of brought the energy back. Even though Hobart, Jeremy, we talked about kind of the difference in the sides. I think Hobart was mostly on that side. The Geneseo faithful were kind of on this side. And it was kind of quiet, even though Hobart was up 1-0. There was kind of no energy still. And then Geneseo kind of got even the Hobart fans. It was like, oh, this is kind of like an important game. This is kind of a much more intense game. We've got a hockey game now.
Yeah, you brought up a good point there. It did feel like the Hobart fan, like, their energy was kind of fading. I think that's due to 2 goals getting called back. They put, it was Chris Duclair took a shot. It went through the 5-hole of Adam Harris, and I thought it went. I was screaming at the top of my lungs. I'm like, oh, the Hobart's up 1-0. I guess it went off the post.
You made a mistake live?
Yeah, it was on radio, so no one saw the actual play. I was anxious to score my first goal call in the Frozen Four. But Yeah, I think the two goals getting called back for Hobart kind of like sucked the energy out of the fans. And once Morgan tied it up for the Knights, I mean, that really shifted the momentum. But where I was calling the game, it was all Hobart fans in front of me. The entire other side was all the Geneseo fans. So it felt like SUNY Poly versus Utica back back on campus for the championship in the E8.
Yeah. I mean, I also wanted to note it, too, just how tough Geneseo played. Like, I really was surprised. I mean, being down here, obviously it's much different in the broadcast booth, but I was right here up against these boards right here, and you could see these Geneseo players were chippy. After plays, grabbing the Hobart guys, pushing them around, staring them down. Like, they were mean-mugging them the whole time, but Hobart never broke. They never broke character, and you got to give credit right there to that squad.
But that's a program. In any sport, good programs keep their discipline, and that's exactly what they did out there. You could tell Geneseo was trying to tick them off. They were hitting them in the chest like this, JB. They wanted them to be mad. They're not budging. It's a good program.
Really good.
That's why they're going for a three-peat.
It's going to be such an incredible game. Regardless of the game we're about to have, that championship game, winner being Curry or Utica, it's going to be an awesome game.
And not only that, I noticed, walking around with my camera here, that a lot of the Utica fans were sitting right over here in the Geneseo section. That says a lot about this Hobart program. They don't want to play Hobart.
Well, because I think Hobart's got a lot going for them now. I mean, obviously, they've got the two defending championships kind of on their back right now, and they've also beat the team that's kind of had Utica's number all year.
Yep.
They beat them at their teddy bear toss. They beat them in the conference finals.
Yep.
Utica did get a win against them, but, like, in terms of kind of significance of the games, Geneseo's got their number. And now Hobart comes in, wins 2 national championships in a row, and beats that team. I think if Utica makes the championship, they've definitely got a lot to be worried about. And then even if Curry beats Utica, they still can't really know that they've got Hobart on an easy win.
Absolutely, but on the flip side of it too, like if I'm a Pioneer or I'm a Colonel for Curry College, I'm looking at this and going, man, Hobart is who ended both of our seasons last year. Curry first in the quarterfinal, and then Utica makes the Frozen Four last year, and we lose to Hobart. A tough loss, both of them close games. I want to play Hobart if I'm them. I want to avenge that. I want to get through Hobart to win a national championship.
Absolutely, Nico. You're right. I was going to wait to talk about it further, but that Hobart versus Curry game last year, 4 overtimes, 98 saves by Curry's goalie. That was one of the greatest games I think that's ever been played in college hockey.
About that.
One of the greatest games.
Oh, my God.
JB, I know you and me were talking about that. We were kind of researching the game earlier in the library, and I was kind of looking because the goaltender for Curry is a really, really incredible goaltender. And I was looking at some of his past game stats. I was looking at last year, and I saw a couple games like 30 saves, 40 saves, really big game, 42, 31. Then I saw 98.
I thought it was a typo. I'm not even kidding. I thought it was a typo.
Some intern in the sports information office messed up. Brady Bernard messed up.
They got their own Brady B over Curry.
But no, I mean, then I looked at the shots and I was like, oh no, these shots are adding up. What happened? And then I saw 4 overtimes. I went and it was like a 6-hour-long game or something like that. It was insane.
That's 2 full games plus 20 minutes. Like
all 4 overtime periods are 20 minutes long.
I mean, on the call, it was 1-1 with like 4 minutes to go. Jackie brought her up, and in the back of my head, I'm like, I really don't want to call 4 overtimes right now with another game to go, especially. That game probably wouldn't happen today. We're not going to play at 2 a.m., you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, that Utica game opening faceoff wouldn't be probably till like 10 p.m. Like, honestly. If that game
much
went
later
overtime,
than that.
Yeah.
Much later than that. Thankfully, we don't have to worry about it because I did not want to call 4 overtimes.
All right, guys. Well, we've talked enough about Hobart, who was going on in the national championship. Let's get to the task at hand. Pioneers playing the Colonels. Let's talk about both of their seasons. Jeremy, I know you've done a lot of research. Tell me about both the Colonels as well as the Pioneers.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've been around Pioneer hockey a lot this year. I mean, both years, last year and this year, but more this year than last year, especially this men's team. They were 24-3-2 all in the year, 16-2-2 in UCHC play. I mean, a fantastic record, led by guys like Jacob Bro, 17 goals, 19 assists, good for 36 points in the year. But I really think it comes down to the goaltending and Ryan Piero's transfer goalie, 14-2-1 since he transferred here in the second semester of the season. I mean, you live and die with your goalie, and Ryan Pieros has been that guy that the Pioneers needed to rely on this year. And they kind of looked dead in the first half. You know, they didn't look like the same Pioneer team that we're used to seeing. And I think that's due to Ethan Roberts being a little banged up in Landsberg and not playing as much of the past couple years. Pieros came in here, brought some fresh blood into the organization, and they're really playing for him this year.
100%. But then I'm going to play devil's advocate here. Then we got, I got to say the name correctly here. We got Shane Soderwall. Soderwall.
I was thinking the same thing. When I saw this morning, I was thinking the same thing.
Player of the year in New England, the best player in New England, I believe. Yes, the CNE. Yes. I mean, he's letting up. I'm pretty sure it's like 1.4 goals a game, and he's played. Yeah, I have it somewhere too. You have nice notes there.
1.45 goals allowed a game with a .945 save
I was
percentage.
right there, you know.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
For my research here.
That scares me.
But we
I don't
look
even
at
know hockey.
exactly.
That scares me.
But we look
Oh,
at Piros though, and he's letting up more like 2 goals a game in half of the amount of time. And it's nothing against Piros here, because I fully believe that Piros has truly saved this season for the Pioneers. I mean, the life that we had in the beginning of the year prior to our winter break when we all got to go home was a very different hockey team. I don't really think all of us really had too much faith in this team.
No, I didn't.
Never would I have thought we'd be here
But
right now.
I think 2 outlier games are those 2 7-goal games against Geneseo. Geneseo. I always say the name wrong. It's Geneseo.
There you
But
go.
those 2 7-goal games, that's going to kill your stats. But yeah, I do agree. I mean, Piros, shorter sample size compared to sort of Wall, and that name did scare me when I looked at the roster this morning.
I shook a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I mean, this is a Curry team, though, that their conference is, it's very top-heavy. They got Endicott in their conference, who's one of the best teams in the country. They beat Endicott in the first
like any
round,
D3
too.
conference, though, to be fair.
Absolutely. I mean, you see the same thing with the UCHC as well, with Geneseo.
Very,
and
very
Utica
top-heavy
being at the
conference.
Almost every
Yeah.
D2, D3, like, division, because there's no D2. It's every conference is kind of like you got your top dogs, and then you got your guys that are just out there like skating and trying to make a difference in those top tables. Like Naz really didn't do much this year. Manhattanville didn't do much. Even Chatham, like they're in the playoffs, but I mean, they didn't do much except beat us in overtime in the shootout. Jeremy, you remember that well.
That game really bothers me. But I mean, again, this Pioneer team, like, they've lost to 2 teams all year. One of them being Adrian back on November 3rd, and then Geneseo, and then Geneseo one more time in the UCHC championship. So like they're beating up on everyone except Geneseo, and thankfully they're not here anymore. So if I'm Gary Heenan, if I'm the Pioneers in the locker room right now, I'm thinking, you know what? Our kryptonite's gone. Let's go win this game and avenge last season's team.
Yeah, I mean, I talked about it earlier. Geneseo's kind of been the worst team, the worst nightmare of the Pioneers and Gary Heenan. And now you kind of at least get the comfort that Geneseo, you don't have to worry about them, but now you've got to worry about a team that can beat Geneseo. And that's, again, there's more accolades on top of this Hobart team, so that's definitely something you have to worry about. As for Curry, I don't know much about their season, but again, they're a really good team. They went deep into the tournament, the NCAA tournament last year, so they're a team that has that experience to perform in moments like this, and it's a team that you have to worry about regardless of who left and who they gained.
Well, I can point out one difference from between Utica and Curry right off the bat. Curry, no overtime or shootout games this year.
Well, Jeremy, I'd also like to point out one more thing, too, about Curry. Curry College has not lost a game in all of 2025. Their last loss came on December 6th versus University of New England, a team that knocked out the Pioneers in the NCAA tournament a couple years back. A really great program. And, Curry, their last loss was December 6th. This team is on fire
You did
right
your
now.
research. I'm proud of you.
I did.
Off the dome, too.
I mean,
no notes
That's
about
my host. That's my host.
Hey.
And on top of that,
keep showing me love.
Absolutely. And on top of that, Curry had 4 first-team selections to their conference, right? Obviously, they won the conference. Their coach of the year. Obviously, if Gary and the Pioneers would have won the UCHC, we're looking at Gary Heenan as coach of the year, 100%.
Definitely.
But 4 first-team selections with, I believe, 2 second-team selections. We had 2. I believe it was Bro and it was Aiden Perek, a defenseman, and then Drake Morse was second or third team selection, if I remember correctly, and then Bax was our rookie of the year. It's a big difference. It's a big difference.
Definitely.
And I don't think there's that much of a difference, argue with me if you'd like, with the CNE and the UCHC.
No, I mean, I think you brought it up. Not just between those 2 conferences, but D3 hockey as a whole.
Yes.
I mean, the conferences are very, very top heavy. And you see it in the UCHC, you got Utica, you have Geneseo, and after that, maybe Chatham. Like, there's not much after
UNE
that.
being in that conference as well definitely
Yes.
boosts them up
Huge.
a lot.
And UNE got an
But
automatic big.
You're right, though. You're right. They are very similar, especially before Geneseo got there. UCHC was just ran through Utica.
Yeah.
But
100%.
Geneseo getting there, I think, is obviously it's not a good thing because they didn't win the UCHC, but I think it is a good thing because you saw in the past, before Geneseo was a part of this conference, the Pioneers would get to these big games like they did versus UNE a couple years ago, and they kind of would be like a deer in headlights. But now they've got the experience playing ranked teams, playing teams like Adrian, playing teams like Geneseo throughout the season. I think it's just going to only make them better. I mean, you saw them make it to the Frozen Four last year. They're here once again. I think this team is getting benefit from playing the competition they play all season.
100%. And I was at the press conference, with Gary Heenan and Brault, and I sat there and I asked them and I said, what is the difference going into this Frozen Four compared to last year? because you had to go through Geneseo and go through heartbreak. You had to go through losing the UCHC title for, Jeremy, help me out here. When was the last time we lost a UCHC title?
I didn't do that research, but I can tell you it was a long time
I was
ago.
not here. I am a senior. I'm graduating in May, and I've
if you weren't
never
here,
seen
I
it.
definitely wasn't here either.
I were in a UCHC final. I'm like, nice. So when's the tournament starting?
Yeah, exactly.
That's how it goes.
It
you know?
is, it is.
The fact
You're
that we
right.
had to go through an automatic bid is crazy, and I think a big part of the reason why we're a different team this year is because we had to play Geneseo all year.
Definitely.
And on top of that, going into the tournament, we looked good compared to. I mean, granted, the St. Norbert game, first 15 minutes, getting out of our defensive zone was a little tough. You know what I mean?
Yes, good point.
And that's all part of it. But Geneseo prepared this team differently than they were prepared last year, 100%. Because, like Gary said, he's got to hone in on the details now. He has to.
Yeah, I was talking to Jack and Riley on the call between during the first game. I mean, obviously these 4 teams remaining now, 3, they're very good at hockey, right? The little things are really going to come out now, and that's what's going to win and lose games. I mean, you look at penalties, you look at odd man rushes, icing calls. Like those are things that are going to win and lose games for certain teams now. And I mean, Utica forced with so much heartbreak playing Geneseo this year. I mean, you lose the teddy bear toss game. That hasn't happened in so long. You use the UCHC at your home rink at the Adirondack Bank Center on my birthday, nonetheless.
I think that's what they were playing.
What is
for more
wrong
so
with them?
than
Like,
that.
come on.
That's
It was Jeremy Horowitz's
That's your
birthday.
broadcaster.
I wasn't there. I was back home in Long Island, but I did hear they had a happy birthday Jeremy Horowitz banner around the rink.
Did the team sing it? Happy birthday to you pregame too?
No.
There was a cake in the middle of the ice.
Oh, there was?
Yeah.
The team didn't, but Jeff Kopech did. So
Okay, well, that's what really matters. Hope he's listening out there somewhere. But yeah, you mentioned it, Nico. I want to talk more about that St. Norbert game because that's a game that you look at those first period of hockey, and I was
boy.
watching the game and I was like, wow. I mean, it sucks. Like this Utica team, I really thought was going to make it deeper. And they did. But then they played the best hockey they played all season in those last 2 periods. Especially Piros made one of the craziest saves that I've ever seen. You guys were there for it. It was incredible.
I was ringside, so I was about 20 feet away from him.
Jack had the best view, 100%.
I had the best view, so sorry to all you guys, but no
wish
matter
I
how
could.
good you thought you saw it, I saw it.
I saw it decently from the Mike Parnell game over at the Gaetano. It was a pretty good look.
I was
but-
here to about where that goal is right there, considering where we're sitting. But I mean, Ryan Piros is unbelievable. I mean, Nico, you couldn't praise him enough, and I don't think anyone can.
No.
He has just kind of turned the program around. I think from a team that looked good at best to a team that is contending for a national championship now. I mean, again, St. Norbert save is really when I was like, wow, this guy is the real deal, as if he had any more to prove on this team.
And there was a lot of momentum that we needed to change in that game. I mean, like I just said before, that first 15 minutes, like I think I was texting you, Jeremy, up in the booth. You were like, it's over. It's over. Not to be negative, but it's our school.
I said, like, this is over.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be negative Nancy
it
over
looked
here, but
bad.
I said they
And
look
know it looked
terrible. Yeah, I mean, but I think around like the 4 or 5 minute mark of that first period, something clicked with the Pioneers. They made a change either defensively or within their breakout, and it started to work again. And I mean, obviously, when you have Jacob Bro and he goes out and scores 2 goals and does what he's been doing all year long, it's going to help. But Ryan Piros really settled in. Thank you for petting my moose. Ryan Piros really settled in, and
It's not your moose.
they found a way to do the little things right. And Ray Biggs, I was standing next to him the entire game. He was getting a little worked up. Like, you could tell something wasn't sitting right with him. And maybe Gary Heenan sensed that. Maybe the Pioneers bench sensed it because halfway through the second period, this was a brand new Pioneers team. They came out looking like the best team I've ever seen play Utica. And I don't think it's crazy to say this isn't the most talented roster this Pioneers team has ever seen. I mean, my freshman year and my sophomore year, you had guys.
Zante Zapata.
Yeah, Zante Zapata. You had
Incredible.
so many guys. Like, wow, they may be able to go like get drafted or go play pro hockey somewhere overseas. Like, not to say guys on this team can't, but I think as a whole, this team is not nearly as talented as the ones of the past. This is maybe the 9th, 10th most talented team in the past 9 or 10 years, something like that. But they play for each other. They play with a lot of heart, and I think that's what really drives this team and separates them from the competition.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, my follow-up question to that St. Norbert game would be, you play a really bad period of hockey, but then you play 2 of the best you played all season. Can they use that momentum to their advantage here in this game?
I think they definitely can, because I mean, I'm at that St. Norbert game. One of the things that I remember hearing when I first got to Utica was people talking about this hockey team. Obviously, it's a big deal here in Utica and on Utica University's campus. I remember hearing people say like, oh yeah, Utica is going to kind of wipe the UCHC conference, then go to the national championship and kind of just give up. Like they're not able to do anything at that
Those
national
years of
level.
the UNE terror. Every time, UNE ended it before we come back for spring break. God.
That's the story that I always heard, and it's kind of the narrative that was put into my head. And then I was at the St. Norbert game being like, all right, well, this is, I guess, what happens every year. This is nothing new. And then those second 2 periods is kind of when I think what you guys were talking about, having Geneseo in your conference, having really good opponents in that you play consistently like Geneseo, is kind of when you're able to be like, okay, this is what we need to do. We have this experience against really good teams. We need to kind of apply that to a team like St. Norbert's, who is, I think, the most national championships in D3 history, like a really good team. So I think absolutely, JB, they can use that experience that they got from St. Norbert, they got from Geneseo, and apply that hopefully to all 3 periods.
And that St. Norbert game, that was a coaching game, 100%. I'm pretty sure that was the most line changes I've ever seen in a game. It was insane, but it was a coaching game. Gary Heenan won that game, not completely, but he did win that game 100%. They were going at each other. They wanted certain lines against each other, and they both want different lines, and they were going at it. Like
I believe in the press conference, I think you showed it to me. They said both guys were playing chess out there, meaning the coaches were playing with each other. You know what I mean? Like they were trying to be one step ahead of one another, and ultimately, Coach Gary Heenan got the best of St. Norbert. I mean, the coach over there, most wins all time in D3 hockey history, has 5 national championships, 14 national championship appearances. Like that is a historic matchup, and for Gary Heenan to come out on top, that not only helps his Pioneer team's confidence, but his confidence as well.
Absolutely, 100%.
Now, we've talked a lot about the Pioneers. Let's talk more a little bit about the Colonels. Coming into this game, heading into the Frozen Four for the first time in the last couple of years. I believe it's their 5th time in program history, I want to say. Correct me if I'm wrong, but how can they get a win in a hostile environment on the road played here in Utica?
Well, JB, to start off, we'll give you some numbers. So these teams have played 8 times. Utica leads the series 5-3, but the Pioneers have won 5 games in a row.
They have,
And now you're going to come to the Nexus Center, a sold-out crowd. I believe tickets sold out within maybe 2 minutes, from what I was told. Granted, a smaller venue, more of a college hockey venue compared to the Odd. But I mean, this team's 25-3, 16-2 in their conference. I mean, Shane Soderwall in between the pipes. 24-3 on the year.
Brodeur.
1.45 GAA. He does kind of sound like a Martin Brodeur who played at the Adirondack Bank Center.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you're led by, I'm not going to butcher this. It's not Vladislav Sinistikov. I can actually say this one. Elias Laxonin.
Can't do with that.
He leads the Colonels with 25 points, 14 goals, 11 assists. You got to play through him, and I really think that he's the guy the Pioneers have circled today on the line chart.
And I'm going to disagree with you maybe a little bit, Jeremy, in talking about the history between these 2 teams. This is not 2 teams that play frequently. They're not anywhere. I think they're the only team left in the Frozen Four not from New York State. I want to say they're from Massachusetts.
Yeah.
Someone correct me if I'm wrong.
They're outside of Boston.
Yeah. They haven't played each other in over 3 years. Curry hasn't won since 2010, but again, with college specifically, you can't really rely on that because, again, guys are coming in and out so consistently. It's completely different guys. I don't know the coaching deal over at Curry, but again, I don't think you can really count on that too much to give Utica too much of an edge over Curry if you're going to look at the history between it.
I agree. The history doesn't really matter that much in this instance because we're looking at 2024-2025 season, and Curry's undefeated. Curry hasn't played Utica yet. This is the first time they're going to play. This is the first time this Utica team, who is basically the 2 halves of the season are different teams, are going to play this team. It's a lot different this year. It's a lot different.
It's the first time that Utica is going to have to face Shane Soderwall, and it's the first time Curry's going to have to face Ryan Pirro. So it's 2 completely different experiences because those are 2. I mean, we're going to talk about the keys of the game in a second, but I think it's going to come down to the goaltending.
And I really think that brings another a key element to it. These teams very unfamiliar with each other. So when you get a chance to go on the power play, you get a chance to go on an odd man rush, you got to finish it because you don't know what the other side's going to throw at you.
Yeah, well, you mentioned differences, and before we get to our key players, I wanted to bring up one big difference that I want to know if you guys think is going to make a difference. This game not being played in the Adirondack Bank Center, Pioneers playing at the Nexus Center, do we think that causes a change in them playing in a different environment than they're used to?
No, we're in Utica. Yep. We almost kind of died down the pressure a little bit, I feel like, being in the Nexus Center. They've played in the Nexus Center this year, and they won, and it was an electric game. I cannot remember who they played, but they played in the Nexus Center this year. They practiced in here before. I remember seeing a clip over at WKTV, seeing it. Della Rivera scored the winning goal.
Shout out to Jason Powell.
Exactly. Shout out Jason Powell. Shout out Spencer Davidson, my guy. He's here somewhere. But seriously, I think this is going to be better for them. I really
Yeah,
do.
I agree.
Pack this. It's a barn. We were talking about this the other day before this 4J Sports show. To have a barn in D3 hockey is huge. We're the odd man out. We sell beer at our games. I mean, obviously not NCAA, but like it's a massive stadium. The Utica Comets play there. New Jersey Devils affiliate. Go Devils.
No.
Let's go.
No, don't go Devils.
I was waiting to put it in there.
Let's go.
But seriously, like I think this is going to benefit them seriously, and I think they're fired up. I was at the practice yesterday, and they are fired up. They're ready to go. Every single one of them. They look bought in, and they want to be on this ice. Yeah, Gary can say he doesn't want to be here, but I like this. I like this matchup a lot.
Yeah,
here.
I agree 100%. I mean, you look at the odd, the attendance was like, it was way down this year. I think like half the rink was just empty. This is, like you said, a college barn.
Yep.
There's not as many tickets to go around here. It's much tighter when it comes to seating and the standing room. I really think this is going to feel like the entirety of Utica is in the arena tonight. And I really think that benefits the Pioneers a lot because when you're playing an empty rink next door at the Adirondack Bank Center, so you're down against, especially it's deflating. I mean, it's impossible
Seeing empty seats.
to mentally come back as a college kid, as a 22, 23-year-old, to look up and see a section or two completely empty. Like, well, that sucks. I mean, it completely kills you emotionally and mentally. So seeing their friends, their family, and their teachers potentially being here tonight, I really think that propels the Pioneers, and they're going to play not only for themselves, but the crowd tonight here as well.
My initial theology.
Oh yeah, I mean,
He's so ready to talk. You never get the chance.
It's so awesome
I'm
being
here finally.
great.
You know?
This big moment.
It feels great. But what I was gonna say is, we're here in Utica for a reason. We're not the 1 seed. We're not the 2 seed. 3 seed's not here. Thanks, Geneseo. But but honestly, like this might be a barn and small for Utica, and might alleviate the pressure for Utica. You know what I mean? But what it is doing for Curry is upgrading in size. This is big for Curry.
Yeah.
This is a massive place. They couldn't host this. They could not host this at all. So I feel like this is actually going to put a little more pressure the opposite way on Curry, and a lot more pressure, alleviate more pressure, let's say, on the Pioneers.
And real quick, I agree. And I mean, I really think that the Pioneers are going to benefit from it. I mean, Curry, you don't have that big of a school. It's not that big of a rink that they play in. And I personally like being here better than the odd. I think it's a better environment. It's a cleaner rink. And I feel like you get more people in the door when you have something where the men's hockey team is going to play here. And obviously, a semifinal game in the Frozen Four, yeah, you're going to sell it out. But I feel like this is a better place to watch hockey than the Adirondack Bank Center.
My initial reaction, JV, to your question of does this change anything was yes, I think it is, because obviously, like we talked about, it's a big deal to play in like a AHL arena. That's a scary environment for an opposing team to come into. And now putting the Pioneers in the Nexus Center, that might throw things off. It might feel like an away game, but again, it's not really going to. So now, again, after hearing all you guys thinking about it a little more, I don't think it's going to. I think it's actually going to be a better thing, because you think about the one game that really sold out was the teddy bear toss, and they lost that game. That's like a big thing I think you have to keep going back to. We talked about it, how that's going to affect thinking about Geneseo. I think it's definitely going to be a good thing, because, I mean, Jeremy, you touched on it. I've talked to Ray Biggs about it. He's like, the Pioneer fan base isn't able to fill up the odd as much as they used to. Again, they might be able to fill it up a little bit, probably a lot more for a national tournament of Frozen Four game like this. But I think it's going to hopefully do a good thing. Again, you talked about the impact it's going to have on Curry are probably going to be endless, because again, it's a sold-out game.
Yep.
It's going to be loud for the Pioneers. It's going to be a tough environment for them.
Sure, and they get sold-out games too, but like, you know how it goes. But I want to also touch on a lot of these guys on this team, a lot of the transfers, they might be older. Everyone says Utica's an older team. They're an experienced team. Yes, that's 100% true that they are an experienced team, but they're transfers. They're not from here. There's nowhere else in D3 in this country that has an Adirondack Bank Center for their D3 school. That is an AHL arena that saw a Calder Cup final. You know what I mean? So, I mean, I don't know. I'm more nervous for them to be in the odd than here, because I think this is more familiar. And especially, we were touching on Ryan Piros, but we weren't touching on Tio Daddario, I believe you say. He's played 17 games here. He came in same time as Piros, from the same area, I believe, and he's got 12 points already. He's a big difference maker, and we're always talking about Piros because we had a Tendy problem, but you know, you need something like that. You know what I mean? You need a Tio DiDario, and he was a huge addition. But guys like that are going to be a lot more familiar with here than they are in the odd.
That's a great point. I mean, DiDario, again, not a first, second line guy. He's going to play on the third or fourth line, but he's a guy who can make things happen. You mentioned, I think he was at 12 points in, 17 games? I mean, it's almost a point a game for a guy who's playing on the third, fourth line, not getting the most minutes on the ice, not playing every single shift like guys like Bro, Morse, Malera. But he's out there, you know, he can make something happen. And having those kind of role player guys, I think that really separates the Pioneers away from certain teams.
And that's what you talked about, Nico, kind of saying against St. Norbert's. You've never seen so many line changes. Gary Heenan's able to do that because he's got so many guys. He's got these new transfers.
They're deep.
Again, in like an environment like this, they might be a little more comfortable. And having a deep bench like that, you're able to make as many line changes as you want because you can rely on every single line and every single guy on every single line.
Yep. Gabriel Lundberg scored the winning goal against St. Norbert. You know how many games he's played? 15.
Wow.
15. He hasn't even played as much as some of the transfers, but he gets goals. They're gritty. The guys that come off the bench are bought into this program. We talk about Hobart being a great program. This program is very, very, very similar, and we're due. We are due for a national title.
Now you're speaking my language.
Yeah. Hey, but listen, going back to a couple points ago, I want to say I'm going to agree with Jack in a sense where I disagree. I don't think this is an advantage for the Pioneers at all. I think this is a disadvantage.
Why, JB?
Because I think exactly what's going to happen. This place is going to be packed to the house, and I think, again, Utica, I don't know. Obviously, I've never seen them play in this rink, me personally, but I know Curry's going to come in here, and they're going to come in here with a chip on their shoulder. They didn't pick our school to come. They didn't want to play the national championship here. They wanted to play it over there. All right, we're going to walk in your trap. We're going to take over your trap. That's exactly what they're
Little
telling
Pittsburgh
their guys
Steelers
right now.
line.
Yeah,
I'm
right.
telling you, this
'Cause that's
Curry
what we
team,
do.
this Curry team is going to come in with a chip on their shoulder, thinking, okay, let's see you pack the house. They want to be the villain here tonight. I think we're going to see that a lot.
Sure, and I'll agree with you there, too, because Curry sold out all their NCAA playoff games, all of their CNE playoff games. They post it on their Instagram. They make sure everyone knows they're selling out that barn. It might be small, but they're selling it out every single week.
And you know they wanted to host, too. You know that.
Sure, yeah. Who doesn't? I mean, could they have done it? Probably not. I mean, we're lucky that we have the Nexus Center here that was built, 2 years ago? I mean, it's luck. It's luck we had it. Because if we didn't have this Nexus Center, I don't know where we would have been. Geneseo, if they can host.
Wow.
Yeah, think about it that way.
Or Hobart, or
gonna say,
a
would it be
neutral site.
Hobart?
But technically, they couldn't have hosted. They didn't have the facilities for it.
Yeah, right. So maybe a neutral site. But like you said, lucky enough, we are here. We get a chance to not only watch the Pioneers in our own backyard, but we get to do things like
this is
this.
incredible.
I mean, I do like your point, though. I think Curry's going to come in here really pissed off. They have a chip on their shoulder. But I think the Pioneers are a disciplined enough team to kind of expect that. And when Curry does things after the whistle, they, meet you over the middle. They try to push you out of the crease and things like that. I think the Pioneers are going to be able to stay composed, and they're going to catch Curry sleeping when it matters the most.
I will say, I do think that's an easy thing to say, is that they're going to come in here with a chip on their shoulder. They want to be the villain. You can say that about any away game in any sport ever. And you can say that about a regular season NBA game. You're going to go to an away game. You want to be the villain. You want to ruin the home team, the home fans' experience. That's easier said than done. I think the pressure is going to be obviously way more. You've got a national tournament. You've got the away team. It's easy to say you want to be the villain. It's just, are they able to take that mindset and utilize it in the game?
But is Curry the villain? They're the 1 seed, guys. Let's take a step
But
back
that's the
here.
thing. They're the 1 seed, and they didn't get to host. That if that was me, if I was a head coach,
Evil
I'd be
empire.
telling my guys that is bulletin board material. I'm telling you.
We didn't get to host.
Exactly. We didn't get to host. They didn't want to play here. They wanted to play there. They wanted to give Utica everything because they know how much winning a national championship would do for the city.
And they got a higher seed than Geneseo, and they didn't win
Exactly.
UCHC. That's based on the
And
percentile, though.
throughout, not to be that guy, but throughout the whole rankings, Utica was always ahead of Geneseo, although they weren't playing as good of hockey.
Sure.
Every time.
Sure.
Every time. For whatever it is. And I agree, the city's awesome, but D3 hockey loves Utica. And there's a reason that the tournament's being played here. And I think if you're Curry, that's gotta frustrate you.
I think Utica needs D3 hockey. I mean, this is like the talk of the town every single year. Like, the city lives for this stuff. So
This is a hockey city.
Yeah,
It
the
is.
fact that they get to host this tournament, I don't think anyone in this town is going to let that opportunity pass them by. And if you're wearing purple in this rink tonight, I wish you luck, because
Maybe wear a helmet.
I think you're better off.
Shoulder pads.
I think you're
Might
betting.
have to dress like these guys out here.
I think you're better off watching it wherever Curry College is, outside of Boston, because I'm telling you, the herd tonight is going to be relentless. It's going to be very loud. It's going to be very rowdy. It may feel like Mega Court tonight, and that's saying something, because we haven't had a Pioneer hockey game be loud really at all this year, except for when the Teddy Bears went flying back in December.
I agree with you, but remember the ticket sales. Season ticket holders get tickets first for Utica. That was a big part of it. I know a lot of kids that go to this school that are fans of this team that go to every game and have a very, very good time and get very, very rowdy that did not get tickets. They're all at Babes. They're all in Pio. I don't know how much of a student turnout we're going to get tonight, and I think that will affect us. Granted,
think so, too.
Season ticket holders love Utica 100%. They love
But it's a different
Utica.
kind of rowdy.
Yes.
It's more of supporting rather than these fans that come in here, the herd, they're coming in here not to cheer for Utica. They want to cheer against the other team.
I think one thing, I mean, I agree with you guys exactly because I've worked the Jumbotron camera walking around the Odd when they've done that, and I'm trying to find people, and I realize it's all like an older crowd. Like, these are not the guys that are going to be up on the boards yelling, screaming, taunting, all this stuff. And they're like, they'll yell, they'll tell the goalie he's terrible whenever that's a goal scored on him, the opposing goalie, that is.
Great chant.
It's hilarious. But again, it's not going to be the herd that you're looking for.
all your fault.
You're going to hear a lot of that tonight.
It's not going to be the herd that you're looking for is going to yell and scream at nothing just because they're trying to mess with the other team.
That's a good point. It is a lot of, it's an older crowd, you know, families with children. And I don't know if we're going to get the herd here tonight. I'm really hoping we do at least get most of them.
We'll
I don't
get
know
a
if,
portion of them for sure.
But it's also different because at a basketball game, just because it's easy for us to talk about since we did this at a championship and playoff basketball game atmosphere. I feel like it's a lot quieter inside a gym than it will be here. I mean, it's so much more spaced out.
Really? You think so? I feel like the tighter it is, the more packed the noise is. You don't
Well,
think
I
so?
feel like
Question of the day, am I right?
This is
I'm
good.
not a
Utica
science
court was
guy. I'm not a math
Utica
guy.
court was no
but
room in Miga.
I think when the court is, you're on. Pretty much, those guys are on the court. They're not going to be able to get that close today. Obviously, you know, this is a much smaller rink compared to the Adirondack Bank Center, and yeah, the seats are pretty close to the glass. But players aren't going to be in front of you the whole game. You know, there could be a time where either team is hemmed in their own zone for minutes on end, and they keep icing the puck. So I think it's going to be really interesting to see what kind of turnout we do get, and if it is a bit of an older crowd and the Pioneers go down early, that may not be very beneficial for them.
Yeah, well, we've talked about, you know, we kind of set the stage now. It's kind of time to talk about, I think, what the keys to success as well as key players are going to be. I'm going to start with you, Jeremy. Who are your key players in this one, and how do both teams have success in this game?
Well, I'll start off for Curry. Listen, I like Manny Cabral a lot. He's not the leading point scorer on the team. He's second in points, 9 goals, 14 assists, good for 23 points. I think it'd be easy to pick Elias Lakotson, but I really think Cabral is going to have a really big game today. And for the Utica side, it's easy to say Jacob Bro. It's easy to say Drake Morris. I'm going to go Johnny Malera.
I love that.
He's a guy from Salve Regina, a top program in the nation, at least at the time. And he actually played at D1 Maine. I think he may have played 1 or 2 games there, but he was on the D1 Maine hockey roster. He knows what it takes to win. And I really feel like Johnny Malera is going to lead this Pioneer team today by example, maybe not vocally, but what he does in between the lines and every third of the ice. I feel like he's really going to set the tone for the Pioneers today, and he's going to show the younger guys on this team what it takes to win when it matters the most.
I honestly, I love that take.
That's a great
I'm going to go a little bit of a different route. But I do like that. I like Johnny Malera a lot. Gary loves Johnny Malera. He always say, little Johnny Malera came here for a reason. He came here to win a
He
title.
said that in the press conference,
yes,
didn't he?
Little
Yes,
Johnny
yes,
Malera
he did
came
say
here
that.
for a reason. And I understand it. I get why. I'm going to go a flip end. We're looking at Curry here, right? I think I know who I'm going to take there. It's Soderwall. Soderwall is a huge factor for Curry, but we'll get to that. But because Soderwall is such a huge factor for Curry, it's going to be a low-scoring game. If Utica wants to win this game, it is going to be a low-scoring game. Now you think, oh, I'm going to take Piros. I'm going to take Brian Scoville as the key to this game.
Great choice.
My pick.
Yes.
That is a great choice.
You could take any of them, though. They're all, the 4 monsters back
Exactly.
there. Scoville, Brighton, Schulteis, new guy, too. Same thing. Any of those guys are going to win us this game. How good are they? Hey, they come. Boom! Right? Hey, you're an analyst.
Curry just headed to the
But
ice.
honestly, seriously, like, Brian Scoville is going to be the key to this game. He's a monster back there. You can tell that he dictates all the play in the defensive end. He is a big guy. And, oh, they're all out, too. Here come the Pioneers.
I love the Blues.
Oh, that is
man,
good.
The
We haven't
Blues,
seen the Blues
is good. I
in a
wish you
long
guys could
time.
see it.
wearing blue at
Hopefully.
home. I hope they can see. But Pioneers
Wow.
are wearing these navy blue
I'm
uniforms.
so excited to
We
shoot
haven't
pictures
seen
now.
blue.
wow.
I don't think at all this year.
Wow.
I like the blue. I like the blue
Wow,
sweaters.
that's good. I don't like the white sweaters. Not a fan. Yeah,
Nah.
we're away. We're away.
Well, exactly. We're the away
It
team.
makes
That's why
sense.
we're in
Yeah,
blue.
that's our away. Yep.
Well,
that makes
that's
sense.
why we haven't seen them.
But
There you
seriously,
go.
back to it. My key to the game, my key player of the game for the Pioneers, Brian Scoville. He's the cat back there. He's the one that dictates all the play. He is going to be massive in this game. And if he plays well and his defensive pairs play well, we can win this game 2-1, 1-0.
Okay, mine are basic. Mine are not interesting. They're not fun. I don't have a cool analysis. I'm going to go with both goaltenders. I think that is going to be the huge factor of this game. We cannot praise Ryan Piros enough for what he's done, for the energy, for the goaltending, for the goals that they've let up in the rest of the season, his semester that he's been here. He's been incredible. And then obviously we talked about Shane Soderwall, 2025 Sid Watson Award winner, which is just like the best player in Division III, not just goalie. I thought that was amazing. He is a very standout guy, and everyone in Division III hockey knows it. So that's definitely be my guy. If I'm not picking Ryan Pierce, I'm going to pick Jacob Bro, but not for the reason that y'all think. It's not because he can score goals. Obviously, he's coming off a 4-point game against St. Norbert.
I know where you're going.
It's got to be the face-offs.
Yep.
Jack's stealing my. Oh my goodness! This is why I hate going last.
You do it to yourself.
What is his percentage on faceoffs? Do either?
70.
Yeah, it's something
change.
crazy.
Jacob, there's only been one game this entire season where he was not winning the face-off battle against the opponent, and he's winning in the games by a lot. It's not even close.
He's like Sid the Kid. He's like Sid the Kid.
Jack, I mean, this is what's so tough of being surrounded by such good analysis.
Oh,
is
thanks,
that
James.
I don't know what to say now. I'm not trying to repeat what these guys just said. You guys have heard it here first. I'm going to keep mine short and sweet. I was going to go with Jacob Bro for the exact reason Jack said. Face-offs, win games, and that's going to come in huge today. And I'm going to go with Soderwall. I'm going to nickname. That's going to be my guy, The Wall. That's
Wall.
That's what I'm going to call him, The
I
Wall.
hope that's his nickname. That's
Jack,
sick.
that's a really good point because
He's going to be playing tough.
I know I keep harping on the little things, and it sounds really boring, it sounds really bland, but the face-offs are something in this game that are huge. A D-zone draw, when you're hemmed in your own zone, you need a guy like Bro to come in there, win the draw, clear the puck, and get off the ice for the next guys to come on and get fresh legs on the ice. When you're in an O-zone and the other team ice the puck 2 times in a row, you need a guy like Bro to come out there, win the draw, and set up in the O-zone. Like, that's a guy who, along with Johnny Miller and Drake Morris, to play on the same forward line. That is the key line today for the Pioneers. Those 3 guys are really going to have to carry the load, I believe.
And I mean, it's simple math. If you're going to face a goaltender that's going to let in a goal 1 every 20 shots, then you've got to get 40, 50 shots to get at least a chance in this game. How do you get those shots? You win the faceoffs. You get the opportunity to shoot the puck.
Yep. That, like you said, that Morse, Bro, Malera line is going to be absolutely massive. I'm not sure if that's actually going to be a line. I don't see why it wouldn't be. But if that is the line, that is going to be the line that every time it's out there, we go, all right. What are we going to do?
They're going to have to do something.
Yes.
And I would assume that Curry's just going to match our best line with their best line, put their ones against our ones.
Sure.
Which, I mean, why wouldn't you, right?
You can't ask for anything better.
Of course.
It's going to be awesome.
But those shifts are going to determine this game. I really believe so. And don't sleep on the 4th line tonight for the Pioneers. I really think they're going to lay down the law and win every third of the ice. They're going to play the body, send some guys flying to the boards, and they're really going to get this crowd involved in the game.
I do want to mention Elis Laxison really quickly. Just another name, by the way, that Jeremy pronounced wrong. He is leading the team in points. He got 25 of them. Also, just a fun fact I found out: he's from Espoo, Sweden, which is only about an hour and a half away from where Alexander Gullikson is from in Sweden or Finland. Sorry. That was a little fun fact there.
Alexander Gullikson is New Jersey Devils' Eric Hollis' stepbrother. Go Devils.
Go Devils.
No.
Just saying. It's true. It's true. I did a Hot Ones episode with UticaTV last year, and Alexander Gullikson said his favorite team was the Devils. I took a step back. I said, Devils? You from Jersey? I thought you were from Finland. I didn't say it like that. I didn't know that at the time. He goes, oh, Eric Hollis, my brother. I went, Eric Hollis?
It's not like the glass.
They're not a fan. They're not a fan of us
don't like
either.
us, yeah.
They'll like JB pretty soon.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Hey.
That's why the moose is in his
Yeah,
hands.
that's why the Moose
We're not letting JV touch the Moose ever again.
But we just saw it, guys. The faceoff played a huge advantage in that game. If Hobart doesn't win the faceoff draw in that game, I don't think they win that game. I mean, honestly, you just saw the whole time Hobart was just controlling it and playing the game at their tempo, and Geneseo just couldn't catch up. As the Pioneers start to lose those draws, they might fall into the same fate.
100%, and that's what Gary always says in every press conference, every time he talks to us, anytime he talks to anyone, any of the major journalism outlets around here. He always says that details, details, details. If they lose, what are they doing the next day? Going over details. If they win, what are they doing the next day? Going over details. Face-offs and draws and all that, it's details. Line changes, details. It's all details, and that is what Utica is good at. They're good at the details. We've talked about this.
And you're going to
Like
need
every
to
day leading up to this, we have.
Yeah.
And I mean, listening to Heena's press conference after the game last week, I'm really convinced he's got his guys ready to go. I mean, it's do or die now, and I could sense that the Pioneers want that Hobart rematch.
And I want to go back to Jack's keys to the game here, right? He said it's going to be Ryan Piros and Soderwall, correct? Yeah. The 2 tendies. I got stats here. Obviously, Utica's been an attendee problem all year. Piros has played 17 games. He's led up 32 goals against in that time in 17 games. Now Curry's played, what's the record there? I want to say upwards of
28 games.
28 games.
28 games.
In 28 games, Soderwall has led up 38. 38. Let that sink in, guys. Piros has led up 32. Yes, like we said, the Geneseo games, they kind of hurt it a little bit, but he did it. He let him in.
Yeah, of course.
And
That's a
Soderwall
great point.
has only led in 38 in 28 games.
That's a fantastic point. I think it's going to come down to if Piros can control himself when it matters most. Because you know Curry's going to have these odd man rushes. They're going to have chances. If Piros can make saves like he did the other day, when he was sprawling across the crease and sent a puck into row 17, we're going to need that Ryan Piros today if the Pioneers want to come away with this win.
100%.
And I think it's a great point you mentioned. We're going to have that Ryan Piros because Ryan Piros only has 2 losses on the season that he's been in net, and those are both the games against Geneseo. But Geneseo, he's also shut them out in one of the games. The one time that they beat Geneseo, Ryan Piros did not allow a single goal. So it's going to depend on what is he able to do against a really good Curry team.
Yeah, 100%.
All right, guys, I think it's about that time.
Already?
I think it's about that time.
You're
If
having
you
too
guys
much
got
fun.
any
You
more
love this
thoughts?
stuff, Nico.
I don't want to stop.
I don't want to. Trust me, this
Me
is
neither.
awesome. I wish we could do this the whole game.
Honestly.
I mean,
Nice
these
to see them all
these guys
out here
look
now.
Scary.
Oh, yeah.
He looks scary. When they were running into the boards, like I was like.
They also keep running. Yeah,
I was
that's scary.
flinching
It's
every
loud.
time. I was
It's
getting
much
scared.
different. It's much different than watching on TV or watching in the WPNR studio. It's much, much different.
And that was what I spent most of my
Yeah.
times watching the games.
But
This is fun for me.
This is what we live for, man. Like being ice level, talking about this opportunity. I mean, Nico, without you, none of this happens. Without Laura, none of this stuff happens. So, I mean, before we get into the picks and all the nitty gritty, I want to say thank you to you, thank you to Laura, thank you to all of our staff. I mean, this has been a phenomenal run the past couple weeks. This semester has been nothing but. It's been nothing but fun. I'm having a really great time, so I'm blessed with this opportunity.
On top of that, from everyone here at UticaTV, it's been impressive. This has been
No, it
impressive.
has.
You know, I've been behind the scenes for a lot of it, and I can finally say it on camera. I'm so proud of this crew. I'm so proud of everyone and everything we've done. This is our 4th game day. It's absolutely amazing what we've done here. And
Gotta give you
honestly,
guys a
I'm proud. I'm proud of all of us.
It ain't the last game day either, because we're coming back on Sunday night.
Trust me.
Oh, yeah, you're
we're gonna
right.
come
We're
back
gonna
Sunday
have a
night,
fifth.
and in the works. Not sure yet, but we might be at the baseball field next week too.
Oh, that's happening. That is happening.
I'm teasing it. Hey, so there's a lot more game day to come. Don't go anywhere, guys.
Absolutely.
But I think it's about that time, guys. I'm ready. I've been waiting all day. Here we go. The Pioneer Power Picks. I wish I had the beautiful Nico Leonard graphic, but I don't. I love that graphic, but I don't. Do you guys have a preference who wants to go first? I know you're real excited about this one. I don't want to make you.
You want me to go first? All right.
Oh, I think we have to have JB go first. We know what not to pick.
I don't even know what direction he's going.
I already teased it.
Listen, I'm done with the notes. Paper's done. Listen, I'm holding mini tracks for a reason. I've held him every show, every 4J's weekly show on Wednesday afternoons. I hold mini tracks. He's my good friend. I drew an eye on him yesterday. Listen, there's a Curry team, and JB, you mentioned they're going to be angry. They're coming here with a chip on their shoulder. That's great. That's grand. That's great for them. It's not going to matter because this Pioneer team. They're tested. They're finally battle tested against good competition. Geneseo came into the conference, and that was the best thing that could have happened for the Pioneers this year. Jacob Bro, Brian Scoville, Johnny Malera, Ryan Pierce are not going out sad this year. They're too experienced. They're too much of a veteran team to lose today. Listen, I'm taking the Pioneers. Fear the Moose. We'll see you Sunday night in the championship game.
All right,
Cue Chelsea dagger.
Jackson, you gonna give your pick?
I'm taking the same thing. I'm taking the Pioneers. I think the St. Norbert game is what really convinced me. We talked about the last 2 periods. They were able to flip a switch. They know what they need to do to beat a really good team, and that's not something I think they had in their bag before. I've seen it now. Again, I talked about Jacob Bro. They're going to have the opportunities. They're going to have the puck a lot. Jacob Bro is going to win probably most of the face-offs unless he has an off game, which is uncharacteristic. We haven't seen it from him at all this year. I think the Pioneers are going to have the chances. It's just going to be, are they able to get past that goaltender? And is Ryan Piros going to come to the game and perform at his best level, which I think he is because this is probably the biggest game of his career. So I'm taking the Pioneers all day.
JB.
This is pressure. This is your first pick live.
I know. First pick ever. I am
First pick.
0-0.
Focus.
You got the best record of all of us.
Wait, literally, I am undefeated in Pioneer-powered picks. Ladies and gentlemen, Nico Leonard or Justin Notar.
Justin Notar's on this.
No, it's not Notar. It's Nico Leonard.
Justin Notar picked Curry. Right?
Notar
Remember
picked
that.
Curry.
On 4G
He did.
Sports Show, Notar picked
So,
Curry.
does that impact your decision at all?
We're going to go into that here. Curry College is the 1 seed, right? We talked about the keys to this game. It's over and over. I feel like we're just ringing in. We're echoing Soderwall, the wall. Because it's scary. the name is scary enough.
It is
This game
scary.
is not going to be high scoring.
No.
Utica games are typically high scoring. Like I said before, keys to the game are going to be the defensive pairings in Brighton, in Scoville, in Schultes, in first team all conference Perec, little scrappy defensemen. Love those kind of players. This game will be won by the defensive pairs, and I fully believe they are battle tested because they have cleaned up the details, as Gary Heenan has said, and they've cleaned it up since that Geneseo game, and they've looked good. I don't see us letting up more than a goal tonight. I don't. I see us getting 1 goal in regulation past Soderwall. 1. And it will be that line. And Drake Morse will score.
Oh.
Drake Morse will score that goal. And we are going to go to overtime here in Utica. And Johnny Malera is going to get the game-winning goal, and the Pioneers are going to the national championship for the first time in, oh my gosh, I don't even know how long. I wish I knew. Not while I was here, and I am excited for it. And we're going to be right back here for Utica TV Game Day talking about the Pioneers again, not Curry College. We're in Utica.
Before Jacob goes, I just want to say we talked about Johnny Malera. I was on Johnny Malera before everybody else.
You're a day one Johnny Malera defender.
First game of the year.
Like I said, little scrappy guys.
First game I called all year. I was talking about how excited I was to see Johnny Malera. He had a bunch of great opportunities. So I was on the Johnny Malera hype before everybody. I started the Johnny Malera hype.
All right, JB.
All right, here we go.
Go ahead.
You
Give it
guys
to
saved the
us.
best for last.
No.
And I'm gonna start off. I like to make it fun. So we're starting with some science. You know what happens when a man in purple and white,
Oh my God.
a wall, meets an unstoppable object from Gary Heenan's Pioneers? A collision happens. Boom! Collision. And that's why everybody thinks this is going to be low scoring. Guys, this is going to be a shootout, boys. We're in for a shootout, boys. This is going to be a high scoring game.
I like that take.
And I'm going to take the purple and white Curry College Cardinals to win this game,
You're
to
too
shut
loud, buddy.
down this
Simmer down.
crowd. And the Pioneers are going to go home sad like they always do. I'm going to go with Curry College to beat the Pioneers and go to the national championship.
You're like a super villain. You scare me.
For those watching at home, you don't even need to watch the game. JB picked Curry. Utica's going to win.
Yep, exactly.
Go to bed,
He's a
eat
jinx.
dinner.
It's going to be 9
Not
to
this time.
nothing.
This is where it all turns around, boys.
I've heard that every single week we've done anything
Keep
to do
riding
with TV.
It started.
It was basketball, then it was basketball, then it was a championship, then it was March Madness. We had Maryland beating Florida.
I did pretty good on March Madness.
And now he's got Curry.
No, you didn't. You didn't pick the Gators. Come on, chomp, 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 chomp. Go
Pick the
Gators.
Rebs, though.
Listen,
We all picked the Reds.
regardless, we're in for a wonderful game. Ray Biggs, this is going to be the night of his life until Sunday night at 7 when the Pioneers play the Hobart Statesmen. It's going to be a great game. And that game's going to look very familiar to a couple years ago when Utica beat Hobart in a football bowl game. It's going to look very familiar.
Wow. What a
Jeremy,
pull.
This is going to be
Pull
a
from the
great night
archive.
for Ray
I was
Biggs
on that game.
until the end of this game. Once he has to go home and be very sad that Curry.
No,
won,
Ray,
because
listen.
Cardinals winning this game.
There's no way this Pioneers team lets a national championship get played in their own house and
And they're not a part of it.
The city of Utica is not going to let it happen.
That's what I'm saying.
Well,
like, I
James
just
Brown
can't see it
is
happening.
letting it happen because it's going to happen tonight. Curry College.
I
win this
think
game.
I think if you get this one wrong, you're inching very close to being under 500 in your picks.
Oh no!
Because I'm in the director's room and I know how it goes back there.
I just know
Every
you're
week,
going to
it's just-
start off 0-1.
I mean, I'm
Can't
gonna probably
wait to
stay
see that
0-1.
fat 0-1. Nico Leonard. I'm gonna.
I don't know, man.
I'm gonna put up that graphic next week.
Wrong.
I talked about it before. This Pioneer team is not as talented as it has been in years past, but they play for each other.
Yeah.
This is not a group of individuals, playing for a stat sheet. They're playing for one another. They're playing for Coach Gary Heenan. And you talk about the defensive pairings. That's how this game's going to be won and lost today. And Brian Scoville, which I believe it's his last year as a Pioneer,
Locked.
he's not going out on a
Diamonds.
loss. He's getting to that championship game on Sunday night. And listen, the Pioneers are going to find a way. They're going to scrap and claw and will themselves to a win tonight.
But Brian Scoville's the perfect example of kind of being dedicated to the city of Utica, like how much hockey means to the city of Utica. I mean, he was D1 at Alabama Huntsville, I think, which that school no longer exists.
Yep.
He came to Utica and he has not left. Like, this is his school. And that kind of shows you like how dedicated these players are to this team and the kind of the culture around it,
How
and
can
especially
you-
in the locker room.
How can you not be romantic about Utica, New York, fellas? How can
We're getting
you not?
real romantic with it tonight. Oh man, this was great, guys. Any final thoughts before we wrap up here?
Listen, I thought it was great. We had Nico on the show today. So shout out to you. Thank you again for everything you've done for us, for this idea about the show. Laura, thank you so much. Trey, Terrence, Kate, Tobias, everyone who's been a part of this production the past month, 2 months, whatever it's been amazing, and I'm blessed to be a part of this crew. I love it, you guys. I mean, without this, I mean, we're going to college, we're going home. Like this is what we go to school for. So, listen, I'm excited to be a part of this with you guys, and we'll see you Sunday night when Utica takes on Hobart.
Attaboy.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I mean, guys, thank you for putting my vision that I had when I randomly texted you guys over winter break. Justin Notar, thanks for doing it. I know you're not here, not a big puck guy, you know, but but seriously, like, thank you, thank you guys for doing this. Thanks for having me today. And I cannot wait to see a Pioneer win. Yeah. We're going to the Natty, fellas. We're going to the Natty.
Very excited.
That's
Nico,
right.
I'm glad we're on the same
Ship
page.
them up to Boston. Oh,
what's up with you and Zach?
Exactly. Ship Curry back up to Boston.
No.
Back up to Boston.
We're gonna be shipping that trophy right up there. We're gonna be right back here tomorrow.
You're wearing an orange and blue tie.
Yeah, honestly.
Look at the colors you're wearing.
I know.
I got no
they don't
Pioneer
sell
colors.
purple
Dude,
suits.
you're like John Cena, bro. You're a villain.
Yep.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning into this week's episode of Utica TV Frozen Game Day. We're going to be back here Sunday for the National Championship. You don't want to miss it. Make sure to tune into that and enjoy the rest of this game. Make sure to tune in to WPNR 90.7 FM for the broadcast. Jeremy Horowitz, Ray Biggs, Riley Calhoun going to be down on the sideline. You don't want to miss it. Thank you all for tuning in. Enjoy the game.
For the Moose.